Craig, you got the win, but were you happy with that performance?
Oh, not overly. I thought our first 20 minutes was good, but we just seemed to lose our way in the second 20 minutes of the first half, and not quite sure. We got a little bit complacent, but like I say, I'm not quite sure, but just seemed to tail off there a bit, and then we found it hard to get our rhythm in the second half. We got some, but like I say, it was, to me, after our start, I just thought, we got a little bit complacent, or we got a little bit lazy, or we got a little bit of what, but and again, it might have been, sort of my decision it was 12-0 to take the 2 points. That's when we seemed to, so I don't know whether, like I say, it was a complacency thing. So, but anyway, like I say, we got the 2 points, and if someone had said at the start of the game, that'll be the score. You want to take it, and you grab it both hands, because as I said, they're such a professional team. They've been in the last 5 grand finals and won 4 of them, so they know how to win. And so I know, and they lost Nathan, and that was obviously a big blow to them. So, but as I said, they know how to win, and their players kept hanging in, and we were hanging on at the end.
Come out to a 14-0 lead. It could have been anything, but was there a real desire at that start to make a statement, after last year's result?
Oh, yeah, like I say, I would have liked to see that happen, but like I say, it was like we thought, we'd done enough, and I think, we eased off there for a little bit. We just sort of went away from what we were doing in the first 20 minutes, and probably looking for a couple of easy options. You don't think that specifically, but just in the back of your head, it sort of it comes in, and then when they got a bit of momentum, it was hard for us to stop it.
What was your take on it, Harry? Like, was it a bit unsettling when you kind of look up and you just got a couple of rookie halves, in the Penrith line? Did it unsettle you guys, or?
Yeah, I guess you could say that's maybe where a little bit of the complacency came from, but I think they did a good job where they got themselves back in the game, and we had a few moments we would have liked back, and that just sort of swung momentum. And then they're such a quality team, not just 13, but a quality squad and quality organisation that they know how to keep a hold of that, and that's what they did there. It was a bit of a scrappy game, and both teams had some injuries and players moving around, but you just got to chalk up wins at this time of the season, and there's plenty to work on, which is good. That gives us plenty of purpose going forwards, but you've got the 2 points in the pocket, and we can move on with that.
I touched on the question. Just, is it hard, like when you're preparing for Nathan for the whole week, or probably 10 days, Craig, for things to change up, so suddenly after 8 minutes?
Oh, like I say, it's a bit of a relief to see him go off type thing. Like he's that good a player, and he's that influential in their team. So like I say, it's. I suppose it's hard, when we had that good start, and then he goes off, and as I said, I think some of the players probably thought, well, like I said, I don't think they specifically want to think that, but in the back of your mind, you're fighting that voice is telling you, it's going to be okay today. But as I said, they're a really professional team, and they know how to win, so you just can't do that with them. Doesn't matter who they've got on their side.
How did you view that collision between Nathan and Jerome?
I didn't see it. We were sort of working things out sort of then, so I didn't really. So I'll have a look at it overnight or tomorrow morning. But got into an awkward position, and I thought we were a bit unlucky that we got the penalty against us. So anyway.
Injuries on Grant Anderson's knee and Nick Meaney's cheek.
I think they're thinking Nick's got a broken cheekbone. GA, he come off, but you know he wanted to go back on again. So I'm not quite sure what his situation is, but there was a couple of them sort of battled on too. I think, you know, perhaps got a bit of a crook ankle, so you know, that right edge was a bit of a jigsaw, you know, in the last 15, 20 minutes. So, but like I say, you know, wish he'd come on and done a really good job. You know, just such a important player in our team in that he's so versatile, he can play any position. You know, I just thought he'd done a tremendous job out there today.
Craig, you spoke about the voice in the back of your head when you were out there all week. Everyone, you included, was talking about how, you know, it's just another game. It didn't mean that much more, but obviously grand final rematch. Now that the game's over, what would you say that win meant to the squad?
Oh, like I say, the defeat in the grand final wasn't even mentioned during the week. You know, that's past, that's gone. You know, we certainly didn't like the result and what happened. We'd rather, you know, it was the other way. But like I say, you just can't hang on to those things. You've got to move on. And like I say, I can honestly say that it wasn't mentioned during the week at all.
Harry, it was a pretty physical game out there. Did you enjoy the battle?
Yeah, it was physical. I think, you know, that's Penrith's real strength is their physicality and taking the collision on and taking the game on. So I think, you know, some of our players really went after that and did a good job, and probably just got to be more consistent with it for the 80 minutes. But I think, you know, the real pleasing thing for us was we're in some positions where we're in a bit of strife, and you know, we got ourselves out of it, got ourselves back in the game, and you know, we got a resilient squad too. We got a resilient team too that just keep showing up for challenges, and there's plenty of challenges out there tonight, but no one shied away from it. We sort of went after it, and it's just something we got to grab a hold of and keep taking forward.
How did you assess Nelson's return to the team?
Yeah, I thought you know, he had impact. I thought, you know, a couple of times he was probably a bit too bull to the gate type thing, you know, where I think he might have got nick, I think. But like I say, you know, it was good to have him back out there and playing footy again. You know, like I say, he's missed a lot of footy, and with that suspension he got last year, and yeah, so yeah, it's just good to have him back out there.
Cameron was put on report. Did you think there was much?
Say again, sorry?
With Cameron being put on report, do you think there was much in that tackle?
Was that the one at the end there?
No,
No.
Mardo. We made that half break.
On Liam Martin, was it? They were
No,
saying it was
I
a
can't
hip drop.
remember that. Yeah, like I say, I can remember he got put on report, but you know, so you sometimes you haven't got time. I can look at that again, you know. So yeah, I haven't seen it. So.
First couple of weeks of the season, where this team's at the moment, maybe compare this time last year?
I can't remember a month ago, let alone last year. So, yeah, I like having the bye round 2 was really strange. You know, like, so we had a good win at Parramatta in our first game, and then all of a sudden, you know, players come back for a couple of days and they got 4 days off or 3 days off, whatever, and yeah, and so yeah, it's been a strange, you know, feeling like how the draw's gone, but yeah, I think. Yeah, like I say, we've got a really good group of players. That there's not a big change from last year. So, you know, we've probably only had, you know, the 2 players come in, Stefano and Moses Leo, and then you know, the minimal loss as well. You know, and there hasn't been any change over in the staff. So it's, you know, it's basically probably feels a lot like last year, and hopefully, you know, with last year's experience, you know, we can build into a better team this year.
Craig, not only were your senior players stood up when it really counted towards the back end of the game, but right throughout the course of the game, I thought your younger players as well also had some impact, guys like Josh King and also Jack Howarth.
Yeah, I thought, you know, Josh done a really good job. Like to give a bit of a rap to Wishy, actually. I thought he done a real good job. You know, he's just such an important player to us. He's so versatile, and he just comes on, and whatever position, you know, we asked him to play, he always gets the job done. So, you know, I thought he was, you know, really important to us today, especially, you know, when that right edge got you know, it just got carved up, you know, as far as injuries and blokes playing in, you know, different roles in different positions there. So, but I thought, you know, he played a bit of wing and a bit of centre, and you know, I thought he'd done a great job there.